Hello, 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 and welcome to ZBrush Live and the Kermaco stream. Once again, like, subscribe, and do all the internet things. And let's get going. How's everybody doing tonight? Looks like we got quite a few people already. That's great. Let me take a quick look at who's here. Wow. All right. A lot of cool people are on. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome all, and let's get going. So, we're still working on this guy right here, and yeah, so last time we kind of did the panel looping up top over here on the main hull. And today we'll kind of work on some of the other parts. I think for the most part, the secondary forms on this thing are pretty good to go. I might do a few things to it, but not right now. Today I'm going to maybe focus a little bit on the arms and legs. So let's get going on those. So we got these in pretty much good shape last time. Oh, before I do anything, can you guys hear me okay? Let's just make sure everybody can hear and see me okay. If you can, and you're seeing this, please chime in on the chat and let me know, and just kind of tell me that the audio is good, and we're transmitting this on three. I said transmitting, but actually streaming this on 3 different services. So. From YouTube, Twitch, and on what's the other one? Facebook. Just if somebody is on there, if you could let me know that you can hear me and see my screen okay, we can get going. So I'll just wait a few minutes until you guys chime in, and then we will get going. So I'll keep talking so you guys can hear me if you need to hear me. Let's see. It looks like on my end here, the audio looks fine. So I just want to make sure it looks fine at your end. And let me do a quick internet speed test. Let's see if I'm transmitting this well. Speed test, go. Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, looks pretty decent. Okay, good. I'm all good on Twitch. Thank you, Oskin007. 007. All right, and then let's see if I can do... Oh, yeah. No, speed is good. All right, so if we're good on Twitch, anybody on YouTube can chime in as well. That would be awesome. And if we can have somebody chiming in from Facebook, we will be super golden and good to go. Yeah, speed is awesome, pretty good, double plus good, as they say. And yeah. So here I'm just basically, I subdivided this about, let's see, 3 times, and I'm just kind of getting it to be, getting the shapes to kind of conform. Let's solo it out. Let's get to clip curve, get this straightened out over here. Like so. Maybe a bit more. Let's get a good angle. Maybe that right there. All right, what is this I'm working on? Zendao asks. So Zendao, I am working on that's a really good question. I should be saying that at the beginning of every stream, so I really appreciate the fact that you reminded me to go ahead and tell you. So basically what we were doing is I was doing some experiments with artificial intelligence, with AI, and just generating images based on, so I just said, generate a mech based on my design. So I just basically said, you know, go to Kermaco on ArtStation and find my stuff and generate an image. And it generated a whole bunch. So if you go to the first one of these streams, so this one's episode 6, I think. So we've done 6 times. Yeah, so they have sorry about that. They basically, you know, basically you put in a prompt, you just type some stuff in, and it goes and generates these images for you. And we had a whole bunch that it generated, and in the first episode, I go through some of them, and we kind of chose this one as something we want to do. And so, you know, here's kind of the mech and these 2 balloons in the back or whatever, and we're basically making that. We're going, you know, so we let the AI look at my stuff, generate some interesting images. It did. And then we actually looked at what it generated and are going back in and making it. So I'm making this thing. Here, let me turn the colors on for the balloon. So we're basically making this in ZBrush. So, you know, we let ZBrush go in, look at my stuff, generate an image that was really interesting, generate some new ideas, and then we're taking those new ideas and getting inspiration from them to generate a whole new mech based on this. And so it's kind of like a recursion in design. So the old man, yeah, they have yeah, they do. You know, I think they must be super busy because I usually there are some things that should be happening that did not happen today. So sorry about that. But if you guys know, I usually stream every other Friday night. So sorry that they don't have the right information. Actually, let me check that real quick if you don't mind. Let me just go to ZBrush Live, and let's go to that. There is ZBrush Live, and let's see who they have it under. And I think there is a way I can do it too, but I forget how to do it. All right, so now this is going to, you know, here we go. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, look at that. It's just going to continue into infinity. But basically, if you look at the calendar here, let's go to that calendar. Hey, there's Infinity Ara. All right, so yeah, they have it. They don't even have me on here. That's so strange. Yeah, they must have. I must have had some sort of a. They either didn't put me in the calendar or something like that. But anyway, here I am, and this will be recorded. So hopefully, people are not too disappointed if they were planning on getting on. But there's quite a few people on already, so that's encouraging. All right, so there are some things coming in from Pixelogic. You know, I think they're just bots that are populating this stuff, telling you about some exciting things that are coming out in there on ZBrush Live on other dates. So stay tuned for that. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a profuse apology at some point about like, oh, we're sorry we didn't put you on the calendar, and we're sorry we didn't put the right name and everything like that. The old man, who's it showing as who's it showing as the presenter? Just curious. All right, getting this kind of polished up. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm definitely not Derek Pellegrini. So yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I didn't do anything different. I'm just streaming the nights I usually stream. All right, so let's just kind of hit this up like that. Get a little bit of a sharp angle there. Something is up with XYZ. Yeah, that's right. Oh, did I turn local off? I did. Okay. So I'm pretty excited. My first term at Noman teaching is coming to an end, and the students are doing some great work. And yeah, it was probably a brain dump of stuff for 9 weeks so far. So, and these students are graduating, so they're all kind of super charged up, ready to go. All right. Anybody have any questions or any topics you want to talk about? Bring them up. It's these are a lot more fun when they're interactive, both for all of you and me as well. All right, so I don't want to spend too much time on each one of these. I want to just kind of jump between the ones and kind of start polishing them up. Let's see this one. Does it have subdivision levels? No. So let's turn smooth off, do a subdivision level like that, and another one. So, and let's work on this one right here. So again, just kind of getting this to getting this to kind of be a little bit more defined, and then we will go ahead and one more. Where's this one we have? Nope, that's it. Okay. Oh, very quiet crowd today. Is everybody tired from work? Was my first full week at my new job, and it was fun. All right. Hey, did this? How are you? Still working. I don't know what you mean by that. Am I still working, or are you still working, or what's the working? Who's working? I guess is the question. All right, let's see. Yeah, I did. I've got 2 jobs, not even just one. I'm teaching, and I am working as a concept designer. How fun is that? All right. Well, like, there's only so much I can talk about it, but basically it's just doing concept design. It's doing concept design on very, very cool projects that I can't talk about because they are not out yet. But when they are, I will definitely be showing people what I'm working on. All right. Oh, you're talking about yourself? Okay, yeah. What are you working on? Are you doing a project of your own? You know, a lot of times when I watch streams, I'm usually working, and I think some of you do that as well. It's kind of nice to just have it on, peek over every once in a while. It's been pretty quiet on the stream front. A lot of people are taking vacations and are not around. So yeah, I don't know why they don't have me in the schedule. I basically said everything in there that these are the dates, but I think who knows, I think the people are still kind of doing the Maxon mind meld, I guess. I don't know, I have no idea. I'm still working to see a bias. What this thing right here? All right. I think this is, I kind of should be getting paid by Wacom because I advertise this all the time. So basically, I'll okay. So this thing right here is a Wacom thing. So if you in the Wacom settings, if you go in, let's bring these up real quick. Come on, Wacom settings. Right. So in the Wacom settings right here, right? Yeah, you can go to your functions. So under Tool, Functions, and under the functions, you can create express menus, and you can just add one. Like if you just click on the plus here, you can add one. And then you basically map these to keystrokes, right? And then you map this whole thing to a button. So you can map it to one of the two buttons, but I'm using a 3D mouse, and here I'll show you this thing. And it's got the button over here. So basically it's like the regular mouse, like this. But instead of having an eraser, which, you know, it's really not really usable in 3D, what this thing has is they've taken that button and they've put it here. So I've got 3 buttons down here. So I use the 2 other buttons. They're mapped to clicking and middle click and right click, I think. And then this button right here, the 3D button, is mapped to this radial menu, and this radial menu basically has a keystroke that it does for every one of these that I press. And these are just basically my number keys. So I either press on my keyboard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever, or I just, at any point in time, if I want to switch, I just bring this up. I've got another, you know, I can switch to brushes this way. So these are all the brushes I use all the time. So wherever I am, this pops up. So wherever my cursor is, this pops up. And then if I need other brushes, it's Control A. And if I need all of my brushes, then I've got a menu here that has a ton of brushes on here. So, so basically, you know, I've got, you know, A, B, and C, primary, secondary, and tertiary levels of brushes that I bring up. But for the really fast ones, I just go to here. And you'll notice me, you know, move between these 3 brushes a lot, and maybe inflate. And then these ones are to switch me back to these kind of defaults of these brushes. So that's what that menu is. Thank you for asking and noticing. And it's pretty useful, actually. Yeah, so I tend to use that all the time. Speed is really kind of the most important thing. Is when I'm working, I don't want to be like going in here and hitting B or whatever. Like, you know, I want to be able to see what I'm working on as much as possible, and then be able to tweak it. So this piece right here is a little bit of a challenge because it is at an angle. Usually what I do is I have these at, actually let me see if I can do that by using Stager. It's better to have these at the center of the screen, not the screen, but the 3D space, so that you can work with symmetry and whatnot. So like right here, I kind of like these curves over here, but I probably would do different things to them. And it's a little bit of a tough thing to do when they're at this angle, but I'm going to see if I can make it work. All right, let's see. All right, ZBrush to Blender hard surface. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of in between learning 3 new pieces of software. I'm learning Cinema 4D, just because I have a feeling that the integration between ZBrush and Cinema 4D is going to be a big deal moving forward. So I'm learning Cinema 4D and Redshift, more importantly Redshift as well, because I think it'll be cool to render stuff in Redshift, and maybe, you know, if I bone up in time, I might be able to render this project here in Redshift as well. So we'll see. We'll see how much I learn. I probably won't want to do that kind of trial on the stream. I probably will want to try it out first, and if it works out, then I'll probably stream how I did it, just because I'm new to both of those pieces. I've used Redshift before a little bit on a project, but I'm not by any means as good at it as I am in KeyShot right now. but we'll see if what happens when I try and shoot this thing over. I already am working with GoZ and sending things into yeah, you guys kind of see here that I'm fighting the topology a little bit, and I'm probably going to have to add a few subdivision levels to get this kind of secondary or tertiary detail that I'm adding here. But this is just a small arm, so it's not really going to make that big of a difference. If I need to, I can just remake this part, but it's really, you know, I mean, it's just a very small part here. Ooh, I don't know if I like that cut line I added at all, so that's going to go away. Yeah, I kind of have to figure out how to make this thing work, but I don't want to do it right now. I just want to move on because I just want to finish these arms as fast as I can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's complicated. I mean, I'm coming from Maya, so complicated is, it's not complicated for me. It's just I got to figure out how to do stuff. I think once the concepts are in place, it's just a matter of learning how one software does something and the paradigm that they use, but not too complex of a thing. I've gone through so many different software packages over my over the time I've been using this stuff. I mean, I started on a Sinclair Spectrum using a very, very simple program, and then from that I moved on to Amiga and Lightwave a little bit, and then True Space, and then Softimage, before Softimage, 3ds Max, and then Softimage, and then Maya. I'm probably forgetting something in there. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of hopes on 3ds Max, but at the time, movie companies were not using 3ds Max at all, only game companies were. So, all right, let's see. Any questions? No questions. Gosh, again, quiet night. Yeah, I think that's a pretty powerful combo. ZBrush and Blender, definitely. And Blender has some really amazing hard surface tools as well, so it's a good combo. I'm learning a lot about Blender as well. It's definitely one of the software packages that I think is here to stay. I think they've made, just in the last few years, I think they've done really well in establishing themselves, which is not an easy thing to do in this industry, but I think their approach of having it be free is really good. However, I've determined that it's really not free. I've determined that you still have to buy some plugins for it that cost money, but the plugins aren't very expensive. They're not bad. But the kind of, like just using vanilla Blender, I think you definitely need some things to do. Like if you want to do GPU rendering, you have to get e-cycles. You can't do GPU rendering in Blender as is, right? So that's a chunk of money. And you definitely want to get Box Cutter if you're using Blender. And even though I don't know if there's still a free version, but that's a little bit of money. And there's quite a few really good plugins, and I mean, they're worth it. They're worth it. It's just they're not free, and that's fine. People should be making money on that ecosystem, so it's all good. All right, let's see. Hey, Mix and Matt, thank you. Not a fan of Max anymore. Yeah. You know what I notice is I notice that people who use Macs, 3ds Macs, are always wanting to do something else, but they always go back to Macs. I know some concept designers that used to use Macs when they were in school or in their first job, and so they probably like burned a lot of midnight oil learning the thing and are really fast and good at it. So even though they've stated many times that they want to do something else, they still are heavy-duty Macs users. So I mean, it's kind of like me too. You know, of all the software packages I've used, Maya is the one that I kind of did a lot of production work on. So usually if I have something to do and I'm in a hurry, I revert to that. So it's going to take me a while until I have that level of comfort with Blender and with Cinema 4D for sure. I think the thing that you really should consider when you're choosing a software package to use is not just the price of it, but the price of using it as a, or the price of spending the time in building the muscle memory and then having to, you know, use it in some sort of a job or production. All right, so these look good. And then let's see. I might do something different for this internal part. I haven't decided yet. I might put some cables in there. Yeah, the assignment right there with you. I'd like to do as much as I can in ZBrush as well. ZBrush is my primary tool, and I think it probably will be for a long time to come, if not forever. It definitely does everything I need it to do for sure. Or at least 90% of it. Like even rendering in ZBrush, if you are, how many global subdivision are there in this one? Oh, this one's on dynamic. I thought so. Whoa, that was weird. All right, let's go to dynamic and apply it. And I was like, why is this not changing? See, the trick here is that there's a lot of plane changes going on polygonally, which kind of don't work very well in real life, in manufacturing. So I got to kind of fake the it's amazing how low poly these things are, right? So here, I'm just going to retopo this. So let me just solo it out. Yeah, I don't know if I need all these edge loops that Dynamics of Diff put on. Yeah, do I want to keep the polygroups? Not really. I don't care about the polygroups. Okay, let's just retopo it. Where are you? All right, so let's go ahead and I don't want to dynamesh it. I want to zero mesh it. So let's remesh it at, let's just use the same number of polygons and let's turn detect edges. Let's see what that gives us. I mean, not necessarily. Sometimes I'm zero meshing it right now just because I want to get clean topology here, and it's not bad. With zero mesher, sometimes it kind of does this thing in the corner where it just doesn't have a edge loop. I could retope this manually, but I'm just gonna go with, I mean, it did a really good job down here, like pretty much almost. But I might need to retope it. But again, a lot of this is not really going to show, so I don't really care about all that part. But I just want this kind of back part to be nice and tight. So I just need to work on that. How long will this take? All right, so let's see here. How much fees of animation course? Silent Zone, I don't understand your question. Maybe you can ask it a different way. Old man, how long would this take? I don't know. You know, on a personal project, I don't really have a deadline. I mean, I set a deadline to myself, and usually it's one of two things that happen. Either I get bored with the thing and I put it aside and then I come back to it. So I have a lot of projects like that that are pretty cool and are a pretty good state, but I've basically gotten bored of working on them. So I just kind of save them and then I can come back to them later on, and I do sometimes. But if I kind of want to finish something, like if I say, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to finish it. It depends on what it is, but usually, like if I'm doing it full time, like every day, 8 hours a day, let's say, probably about 2 weeks. Usually I set 2 weeks as the deadline and I try to meet it. So if I'm like, you know, if I kind of have a project for myself and I want to make sure I finish it within a deadline and kind of treat it like it was work, then I give myself 2 weeks to do it. I think that's a kind of a good, safe amount of time. All right, so I don't know about the transition between this piece and this piece. It's kind of funky. I don't know. Let's see. I think. Solo this out. I think maybe cutting this off like that might be better. Let's see if that works better. It does. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ZRemesh this again. Yeah, it's not really a problem. It's just it's not a problem at all. I mean, the only thing that I did here is I just kind of want to make the transition between this piece right here and this piece work. And so the previous thing was not really working well. Neither is this kind of sharp point over here. So I'm going to do this as well, and then ZRemesh it again. But you can get some really tight edges. Right now, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm just kind of still shaping this. So I'm still kind of in the determining the primary shape. So I'm not being as, turn perspective off here. I'm not being as kind of militant about getting the edge flow. But if I want to actually get this to work, it's really easy. It's really easy to do that. Afterwards, I mean, either retope it or you know, use some guides or something for ZRemesher to get more of the types of results that I want. Okay, and another trick here I'll show you as well to get tight edges is if you do a ZRemesh but do it with less polys. So here I'm just halving the number of polys, and I'll probably do it one more time. And one more time. So the less polys you have, the straighter these edges get. One more time maybe. And even one more time after that. Okay, so now I got, you know, tighter edges, and then I can just subdivide it. All right, let's see what this looks like in the overall scheme of things. That looks good. Looks good. So this kind of shape over here is really, you know, kind of not working with the other stuff. So let me go in here and modify it like so. Zendao is asking, including texturing. Well, it depends, right? I mean, it depends on what kind of texturing I'm doing. If I'm going to, you know, UV everything and take it into Substance Painter and, you know, I mean, it depends on the level of detail. If I'm going to take it into Substance Painter, if I'm going to do that kind of work, then that will take a little bit longer. And it's a lot of kind of grind of a manual type of labor to get it to that state. But again, it depends on, you know, how much detail I want to put into the texturing effort. But, you know, But if I were just poly painting or applying materials and whatnot, yeah, I could do it in 2 weeks. If I'm going to do heavy duty texturing, then that might take me another maybe 2 or 3 days. Not that long, but basically it means I have to take every single one of these pieces and UV them, which again, sometimes UV Master does the work for me, and sometimes I need to get better UVs. It all depends. And also, another thing that is really important to know is what this is going to be presented as. So if it's going to be in a game, let's say, then it's a whole other workflow. If it's going to be an image, then it's a different workflow. For me, I like to, from my perspective, I like things to have a certain level of detail all around, because I am sculpting. So as a sculptor, you're always kind of thinking of things all the way around. You're not just, finding an angle. Like for this, I mean, if I just have it at this angle and sculpt it at this angle, I don't have to sculpt anything in the back. And of course, that makes my job a lot easier, and that's not a big deal. But if I'm doing this as a concept and I want to basically have people see it from all angles, if it's going to go, let's say, into a movie or it's going to go into a game, we don't know what angle people are going to see this at. So I like to get all the angles possible. And plus, if you have all the angles possible, then you can really work on getting a very compelling composition versus, let's say, if you just did one angle and then your composition isn't working, you're screwed. So that's why I like working in 3D, and that's why I like doing things kind of a little bit more detail. Hopefully that's making sense. Yeah, but yeah, I probably, I mean, again, if this was something that really mattered, I mean, this piece right here is going to be covered by the balloons, so it's really not important. What really matters is like the front silhouette, which is working really nice. I really like how the silhouette of this thing looks. It looks pretty great. Like that's a really neat look right there. So, I'm worried about it from the front. Maybe if I have the side view and if I pop the balloons on, let's put them on real quick, like so. You can see that like that back part really isn't going to show much. So I just have to worry about what is showing for now. But again, the balloons could deflate, so I don't want it to be too slipshod as well. All right. It's so funny how the chat gets populated with stuff as I'm working. I mean, like, advertising kind of stuff. All right, so that's kind of going all the way up here. I wonder if I should raise this part too. Maybe. So you guys can see how fluid this is. Like I still, am determining the shape more or less. It's still not determined. By the way, that was another kind of trick to get some hard edges. Let's ZMesh this again. There we go. Now the front silhouette works, and now I'm just working on this back silhouette. And I kind of want it to work with the A-line of this part right here. And yeah, so I kind of want to do this as well. Maybe add a little bit of a wedge here this way. Maybe a bit more of an angle, going backwards, maybe like, how about that? All right, one more ZMesh. And I think we're good with this shape. So make sure it's working over here. And then let's work on this guy. All right. How important is it that things look real? Well, I think that's very important. At least it is for me. I want to get things to, I mean, this is not CAD, this is not really going to be built and be there in real life. So I don't really have to, I don't really have to make everything completely work, but on the other hand, I also want to make sure that if somebody's looking at it, that it looks doable. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if anybody watched the latest episode of Obi-Wan, but there was a scene where he's running away from a body of water, and the physics of it just didn't work. So I mean, even though we see it and we think it's kind of cool, it just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't read right. It doesn't compute, as as one might say. There are a lot of things too, and like Lord of the Rings, there's a scene where Legolas is running up these stairs, and the stairs are falling, and he's like pushing on them and jumping up, platforming on them. And from a physics perspective, that would never work. So it is important to kind of be looking at things in a way that they would work. Like for example here, what I have is I've got these arms and I've got this thing on the inside, and I'm assuming that this thing on the inside is like one of those muscle kind of materials that basically will shrink and grow to accommodate that motion. But you know, again, there is a kind of, I'm making these things this way so that I know this is going to bend down, so I'm leaving the room for it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of taking mechanical things into consideration all the time, but you know, again, I do leave some stuff for the imagination, but I also do want to make it so people can look at it and go like, yeah, okay, this is possible, this can happen, this doesn't look like it's impossible. All right, so this front part is kind of not working, so let's make it work. Is this, yeah, this thing could use ZRemeshed. It's got 3 levels, so I'm going to delete the lower levels and just ZRemesh it with same. Let's start with that. So yeah, Yoldman. What's a Yold? So yeah, I would definitely put in, you know, some thought into that. And if you watch my first stream ever on ZBrush Live, when I did the robot, I go through and show you how you can create those joints. And how you can make those work. All right, let's see what this looks like now. I don't think I'm going to have to turn polyframe on. So this looks pretty believable this way. But oh no, here we go. We're having a shitbot post some stuff from YouTube nonetheless. Oh my gosh, not good. Let's go ahead and get rid of this moron right here. Where are you? I wonder if I can do that from here. Filtering. Yeah, goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye. And I don't know if I can delete these posts that he put on here. Block user on YouTube. Yep, let's do that. Block user on YouTube. And block user on YouTube. And block user on YouTube. All right. All right. Hopefully those comments are gone. There's always stupid people doing stupid things. And yeah. All right. So of course I lost all of the chat while I'm doing that. So if you guys can say something, that would be great. So we can replenish this chat. Unbelievable. However amazing technology is, there's always some moron that's going to abuse it. I think it would be great if there was a government agency that went after these people, like Interpol, but for this. So yeah, just kind of go in and find out who they are, expose them. And you get a few of these people exposed, and then basically that would be the end of that. I mean, some people are just doing it for fun, which I don't, you know, I figure if that's the only thing they have to do to get their jollies off, then, you know, maybe they need to get more of a life. But if they're doing it for nefarious reasons, then, you know, then maybe it's a good thing if they get exposed. All right, I think they're gone, so good news here. It's such a delicate kind of dance between privacy and people abusing the system. All right, so this is kind of getting to be more along the lines of what I want. The bottom part's still kind of funky, so I'm going to go fix that. Ooh, that kind of looks neat. All right. Let me see if I can make this work. All right, so now again, I'm just kind of going in here and just getting this. Is it on Dame Standard still? H polish. All right, here we go. See, I'm basically establishing the planes of this thing, like so, and I probably will put a little bit of a, and I'll do that now. Fix up what happened over here a little bit. Bring this out. Do I use dynamic subdiv? Oh yeah, all the time. Use dynamic subdiv all the time. It's great. About you, when I'm in learning to sculpt, I just always want to zip off to those sites. I don't know what you mean there. Oh, really? Is that a thing now? So, like, you know, it's happening to all streams. I wonder what the point of it is. Like, you know, like, what are these people that are doing this getting out of it? Like, is it just like hack cred, or what is it that what's the payoff? Like, obviously they've got to be putting some work into doing it. Like, are they selling advertising to these nefarious, I mean, like, what is it? what's the point of it? Like, do they just, you know, walk up to somebody at a party and like, hey, guess what I do? I go into streams and I put really stupid comments in the comment section. That's what I do. It's in their resume. What do you do for a living? Oh, does it happen in all Pixelogic streams? I'm just curious. Oh, it's just to harass. Oh, why? Like, what's the point? Like, does that cause them pleasure? Like, what's the big deal? Like, is that the best they can do in their life? Wow. Bunch of losers. Oh, really? So people click on those? Like, there are people that are so not smart that they go like, oh, yeah, you know, I want to do this. Like, yeah, I think in the next few years, I mean, it started already, but in the next few years, I think cyber policing is going to be a big thing. I'm just waiting to see if and the really shitty part is that, you know, as they do more policing, it's going to make life tough for everybody, right? So these morons are basically ruining it for everybody for whatever little bit of money that they're making. They're just making life hell for everybody. I mean, on one hand, I think it's a good thing because it kind of creates more, you know, security, and people kind of, you know, the more issues there are, the better the systems will get and more hardened they will get. But on the other hand, it probably will make life more difficult for the rest of us, which kind of sucks. All right. It has happened to other Pixelogic streams. Great. I wonder if there's a way they can combat that. I'll talk to them about it. Just want to create a little bit of a dent over here, so I'm going to go ahead and mask this part like so. So all these little things that I'm adding create visual interest. And like you see here, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. I'm spending too much time on this. It's looking pretty decent. The only thing I don't like is this part under here. Let's see, does it work from the front? It does work from the front. I just need to make it work better. Let's see if I can use the move brush to move this down a bit, if that will add to solo. Mask this part here. This is what I need to fix. There we go. Let's see if that makes it better. Like something like that. All right. Yeah, this is a personal project. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just me having fun, basically, with all of you. So a lot of times I like to post my personal stuff on my website, and I'd like to always work on personal stuff because it keeps me interested. I would hate it if this was my job and I just did it for work. Like that would really kind of kill it for me. So that's why I do these, because it's kind of outside of work and it's just me having fun. I would be doing this anyway, so since and streaming is definitely more fun for me because I get to hang out, and it's good for you too because you guys get a tip here and there that you could use in your workflow, and it's a good place to hang. So I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know if you guys saw the latest episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it was pretty, I mean, there was some really cool stuff. You know, it's so funny. It's Star Wars, right? And there's always cool stuff in it. And it's always like great, but man, they really stretch things a bit this time around. And again, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to go into any details, but suffice it to say that for me, this was not an episode where I was blown away. Oh no, more of this bullshit. Block. I think if all the people that do the streams block these people, eventually they'll go away. I think YouTube or Google needs to kind of go through and find these people and get them out as well. All right, let's play whack-a-mole. All right, did a bit more of this. Now the thing that kind of sucks is that I don't know if these chats are saved, and if they are, it would suck if you know, it's getting rid of stuff that people need. So like I said, thank you, LBS, for okay, let's see, I've got a question, and I just started learning ZModeler for the initial base. Is ZModeler reliable enough to keep? Oh yeah, ZModeler is super reliable, and in my opinion, it's one of the best modeling tools out there. I am a huge fan of ZModeler. Loved it from the day it was introduced. It was like Christmas when well, I shouldn't just say Christmas. It was like a holiday when I saw that for the first time. So personally, I spend a lot of time in ZModeler. Right, so I'm just adding some features here. Again, I'm kind of breaking my rule and spending too much time in one area, but this is coming along nicely, so I think I'm going to leave this for now. Let's move on to I want to do some work on the legs here. So this part over here is going to be kind of a soft body. So it's going to just be a kind of a piece of cloth. I turn the AccuCurve off. Like so, and I probably will use dynamics for it later on, but for now it's just going to be like a soft body part right here, just because I don't want to really get into modeling all the joints and everything for this leg. So it's a little bit of cheating, but it's also kind of a design choice. It is staying in the chat. Yeah, maybe the Pixologic people can go and clean it up later on. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Yeah, I'll talk to them about it for sure. I'm sure if this is happening to a lot of people, then I'm sure we can complain to YouTube and let them know that if they want us to stream on their channel, that they need to do something about this. I mean, I think, you know, even I'm pretty sure that these people are using some sort of a VPN or something, but it is, you know, they can be tracked. And I would love to know who they are. Like, I would love to have some cops show up at their door, slap them with some fine or something. I don't know. I know what the best punishment would be. Oh my God, that would be the best. So the thing they should do is they should basically grab these guys, and their job would be to go in and clean up all the chats where they put all this stuff in. So they have to manually go in and remove all the different things that they what's the deal with this thing right here? Is it reversed? No. Yeah, so that's what they should do. They should be in charge of going up and cleaning all the oh, so the useful chat is staying, but what about the garbage? Is it being removed? AL? If it is being removed, that's awesome. Just got a notification on my phone about the Call of Duty reveal. It looks so good, the new one. Yeah, October 28th. I will probably pre-order it because it is Infinity Ward and they usually do a really good job. I think this is Dynamesh, so I'm going to re-Dynamesh it. Okay, that looks good. All right, so I'm going to hide some of these arms here, just so I can get a better view of just the legs and kind of work on them. Wow. I don't know if I've talked about this in my stream before, but I've got this neighbor kid somewhere that has the shrillest voice. Oh my God. And she's always crying and crying really loud. And having had kids, I really feel bad for her parents. Like, she seems to be really kind of... Oh, here we go. One more time. Bam. It doesn't seem like they have a link or anything. Like, I don't know what the point is. It just seems like they're just being a nuisance. Okay. Oops. It's a little bit smaller. Move it over to the side here. It's always nice to kind of have your reference around just to look at it. But yeah, I mean, with this one, I'm really not doing any. I'm not doing any. I don't have a lot of different references. I'm just basically going just off of one image and letting my imagination do the rest of the work, which is kind of a challenge, but also, you know, a bit more difficult. Let's see. Agreed. That's having the 5-minute delay. That's a good point. Okay, good. Nice. So if I'm banning them, then they're going away. That's good, good, good. But I shouldn't have to do it. So hopefully once I ban them, they go away. I mean, you know, these guys are probably creating a bunch of accounts as well. So I think there's a way for Google. I think Google is, they own YouTube, right? I think there's a way for Google to kind of know if somebody's creating a bunch of accounts. They probably have a bot creating these accounts. And they're probably tied into some sort of email address or whatever. Like it wouldn't be hard to throw an AI at figuring who, you know, turning this BS off. But yeah. Whatever system is there, there's always going to be some body that oh, here we go again. I wonder if they do this to, like, you know, I'm sure there's like some streamer somewhere that has like a Liam Neeson kind of connection, so they can use their very special set of skills to go after these people. So disrespectful. That's not going to work that way, so I have to do this a different way. Getting this angle here is going to be a bit of a toughie, but I can do Doing a standard is acting weird. I'm going to reset it. So here I'm just using good old Dynamesh to do this. And then once I get to what I want, I can get better topology from it. Oh my God, not again. See, the thing is, I don't even know if these people are watching the stream or if they're just randomly attacking. All right, let's see what that looks like. It's looking okay. It looks believable. I think that's a good place to start. And I'm going to, even with this kind of thing, I'm going to go ahead and use a dynamics brush on this. So just nudge and nudge these around just to see if it gets some sort of a, here we go, get some good cloth action looks. That's looking great. Okay. All right, so what's really weird is as I'm blocking the user, like what do these guys do? They have multiple accounts, I guess, and they just keep attacking it with multiple accounts. Is that what's going on? All right, anybody have any interesting things to talk about? I'll talk about AI a little bit. I finally got into the Midjourney beta, so I will be trying that out, seeing if I can get some interesting things out of it. Actually, I've been on it for a while. I just haven't had the time to generate some images off of it, but I will be doing that quite a bit in the weeks to come. All right, let's move on to this piece right here. Off, divide, smooth on, divide a couple of times, and inflate this because I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Of course, doing that, I completely obliterated the original shape. So I'm going to go back down here and delete the higher subdivision levels and come back at it. Does level 2 look like? Nope. Sorry, getting higher. Smooth off, divide, divide, smooth on. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's what I did too. I put my name in as the artist for this one. But this is not using Midjourney. This is using Disco Diffusion or Google Colab. But yeah, I think it's going to be kind of touchy if people are using other artists' names, because it kind of, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line that this is somebody's work? Like if you just type something in, if you type another artist's name and you get something really great from it, you know, is that your work? You know, or is it theirs? How do you justify the usage? That's going to be an interesting thing for the legal market to determine. I think that's going to be a pretty hot topic. There's probably going to be a landmark case that determines it at some point. All right, for this one, I'm just going to Dynamesh it for now, just for kicks. Yes. Wait, what did it do? I'm going to Dynamesh it. No, I don't want to free subdivision levels. Yeah. Not yet. Right. I mean, even though this thing started with good topology, I think I just want to kind of do this to it. And maybe move these forward a bit. Here we go. Okay. That's looking good. Where did I get this concept from? AI, is that what you're, or AL, is that what you're asking? Like, where did I get the concept for this from? This thing that I'm making? If that's your question, I got it from the AI, and the AI got the concept from my work. And specifically, I think if you go to my website here, I think that it got it probably from this mech right here, and also this mech. So it probably looked at this mech that I have, the Goliath mech, and like you can kind of see a little bit of this showing up in it. This kind of shape right here is showing up in it, right? And so it probably got a little bit from a lot of the mechs that I have and generated this image. And then once this image was generated, I'm kind of going back at the AI and kind of trying to get something off of it. So it's kind of an interesting process to have the AI look at your work, generate an image, and then look at whatever the AI kind of came up with, and then use that to generate something new. So it's kind of working harmoniously with the algorithm to get something interesting. kind of is an extra step in the creativity process, but it definitely is a shortcut as well. Because right now, like if I'm going to do a concept, I can throw AI at it, generate a whole bunch of images, and then get buy off on something and then make it, instead of spending all the time making something in ZBrush and then having it not really work for the project. So AI has become an integral part of what I do all day, every day. So when I'm supposed to come up with ideas, the first thing I do is throw AI at it, see what it comes up with. Of course, refer to my work. Sometimes I refer to other work as well. But the thing is, I don't know what the AI is drawing from, right? Like, I don't know what image database it has that it's kind of hitting up to get its images. So, I mean, it's obfuscated enough, but sometimes you can find images. So the last AI trek that I did, so here I'll go ahead and go to my Instagram. The last journey I did with AI. So, you know, I've been doing a lot of kind of, you can see I've generated like a bunch of pictures. So for the, you know, like the last ZBrush thing I posted was this, which is an organic sculpt. After that, I kind of started using AI. Like even from the first day, I started getting some really interesting results like this and this and this. So, but then as I moved on, I kind of figured out how to change the prompts. As you can see here, I'm getting better and better results, different types of results, different kinds of prompts. Really some really super amazing results. But then in this one, I actually started putting in images to start with. And so this was for May the 4th. Even though it's posted on May the 5th, it's on May the 4th. And I basically used Star Wars images to generate these. And some interesting kind of Sith images here. And again, it's pretty abstract, but it's giving me some ideas of things to work on. Here I've got some really cool stuff going on, both in the negative and positive space. And yeah, here's another one. So you can kind of see a Stormtrooper helmet in here, but it's not really exactly, I mean, some part of it is and some parts of it are not. Here's another one. Here's another one. So these are actually going off existing images. And look at how cool this is. Like, it gives me so many cooler ideas to generate a Stormtrooper helmet. So if LucasArts hires me to do a Stormtrooper, a newer design for it, like I can definitely see some interesting stuff going on in the eyes over here. So like doing a next generation Stormtrooper, I can definitely use some of the ideas the AI generates. Like here, this is pretty bad right here. So the eyes here are horrible. But there's some interesting things going on with the mouth that I can get some ideas from. This is kind of a really cool, interesting helmet idea. So it kind of really is a good way to get some abstract shapes out of it for my workflow, but definitely not, definitely is drawing from the existing work. So could I have come up with these ideas by myself? Probably. It probably would have taken me a lot more time though, and this gives me so many different options and so many, like these are the images that I posted are only a few. The AI generates so many. So like out of 100, I basically can choose maybe 2 or 3. But, it still takes less time to do those 100 images than it would for me to physically go and paint 100 images and figure out a strategy. All right, let's see. Yeah, it does look like fine art. I mean, it's abstract stuff. You know what I mean? It's definitely interesting. And also, like to get that same image, you'd have to really, these are very much generated at the time they're generated. It would be really difficult to get the exact same image twice in a row. I mean, I guess you could put in the same seed and everything, but it is definitely hitting a moving target of a image database. So you're never going to get the same image. Like 2 people can put in the exact same prompts and have the exact same seed and get different results, depending on the day they do it or the time they do it. But all this is really new. Like all this AI stuff, imagery is really new, and it's already kind of making a big splash, which is cool. All right, so this is looking okay for now. I'm going to turn topological on here, just so I can focus on these parts. All right, so this basically, this whole thing here is just the foot, right? And I can have it be more at an angle like this. And if I want to, I can, let's see what that will look like. Try it this way. Duplicate it. And do this kind of thing where it's I mean, this definitely grounds it more. But I don't know. For now, I'm just going to keep it like this. And I'll figure out what I want to do later. All right, so I think I've spent enough time on the leg. Let's move on to something else. Let's move on to this arm. Now, as you can see here, I've picked a pretty, I mean, the more arms you have, the more stuff you need to actually work on one by one. So I've kind of created a lot of work for myself, and but that's okay. And again, I'm not really going to do too much stuff on these. I think pretty much what I get done today, I might just kind of accept. And again, these are just kind of grabbing arms. They just kind of constrict and hold whatever it is that it needs to hold. And then there's this one right here. I guess I'm going to work on this one a little bit. Oops, it's the top one. Should work on this arm. I'm kind of worried a little bit about this junction over here, but I think I can, let's see, is this dynamic subdiv? It is. All right, so I'm just going to apply this. And maybe divide it once too. I'm trying to determine this look. Okay. The more arms, the more awesomer. Yeah. Well, again, I'm kind of looking at this, and I kind of see a lot of tendrils and arms over here, so I just kind of took that leap. But, I mean, if I have all the arms out, it definitely looks very cool. Kind of has a spidery type of a look to it. For here, I think I might just, instead of trying to do what I'm doing, I think I'm going to try and do something else, which is creating another part that'll go as a junction. Right. I'm just going to close this off. So right now I'm just masking. This part like so, and see how this is going all the way down. No worries, we can do that. So here I'm just basically going to create another part from this masked area. Let's see what that looks like. It's good. All right, let's just run extract plus on this. Yay, he's back. Lock user. It's funny, before the so I've got a chat window here, and I'm getting rid of it, and then it completely disappears. But before it disappeared, I saw somebody put in Mactopus, which is kind of funny. That is really cool. The Mactopus. It's an octopus, but it's a mech. All right, so now I've just basically created a new part here, and there it is. Let's take a look at it. Right, I'm going to give it some thickness. Dynamic subdiv. Where are you? Here, no smooth, but definitely some thickness like that. That's good. And let's accept that. And let's zero mesh it. So basically, I've just kind of created this part that will go in between these two parts, and help make that junction a lot more believable. So I think we're about 6 episodes in on this mech. So I think this will go a good 10 episodes probably. Maybe more, who knows. Maybe 12 or 13, but I'm happy working on this. It's not bad. Some of the themes for the new streamers, some of the themes are tabletop stuff, tabletop game pieces. Which is kind of interesting, and I kind of thought maybe I would do this. Here we go again. Block user. So annoying. I thought of doing something like that, and if you guys want, I can kind of interrupt this one and put it on hold, and then do something like that, and then come back to it at some point. Let's see, what tabletop character would I do? I might do a chess piece maybe. It'd be fun to do like a rook or something. All right. Well, the good news is I've reached 100 messages, even though, you know, maybe 20 or 30 of them were that stupid thing. Oh man, I'd love to design a Tesla bot if Elon wants to throw some money at it. I would love to do that. No problem at all. It'd be funny if I pitched it and they said yes. I kind of like my the team that I'm working with at my new job. They're really amazing people. So that would suck if I got an opportunity. I mean, compared to what I'm doing, designing a Tesla robot is definitely a would be a treat. It would be awesome, and it would be once in a lifetime type of a thing to do. And I would love to see what I'm creating be real. But I don't know what it would take for them to actually hire me to do it. I don't know anybody at Tesla. Well, I take that back. I know a really good friend of mine that's a mechanic who works for them. But yeah, I'm not very keen on a lot of their designs. I mean, like their astronaut suits are okay. Their rockets are okay looking. The cars are okay looking, I guess. But definitely, like, I wouldn't look at the Tesla design of a car and think that it would be iconic. Like, like the VW Bug is an iconic car. I don't think Tesla cars are iconic. I don't think they. I don't think their designs are that compelling, unfortunately, and that's my opinion. I mean, who knows? Maybe the people that drive them think they're amazing. Who knows? Like, I do see some design elements that I think are really cool, and I love the simplicity of everything that they do. But I bet you if there was an electric car like a Tesla designed by Apple, it would look so much better. Just because I think Apple gets design, Tesla does not. Mactopus, powered by Tesla. Hey, Karki, how's it going? All right. Oh, wow. We're almost done. I might go a little bit over today. This is fun, right? Okay, so the thing is, this probably will be a different color, this piece, and it will look really neat once it's done. So let me add another subdivision level to it. And yeah, here we go. So the good news is that this has made this look a lot better, but I still have to... the Cybertruck is unique. I gotta admit that that is unique. It's a really interesting design. I would definitely agree with that. I kind of wish their cars were more unique of a design, like the Cybertruck was. Cybertruck is really bold. I mean, that's a really gutsy move, and I like that. I like it when companies take risks like that. And it really got a lot of flack from my designer friends when it first came out. And I do have a lot of car designer friends, and they are really amazing. But I think it is. I like the boldness of it. I like the fact that they are really. I like that they're really taking a nice chance with that. I think that should be encouraged. I can't wait to see them on the road. There are a lot of really interesting car designs out now. You know who's doing amazing designs nowadays is Hyundai, amazingly. Hyundai is doing some really, really cool designs. They're really kind of doing very innovative stuff. I like the Toyota CHR. I think that's a cool design car. I might actually get one of those at some point, because I think it's a good kind of functional car for LA. And I'll probably be getting a new car at some point soon. But I don't see anybody taking like big risks with car designs. I think people are really playing it safe. I mean, of course, you always have the exotics that are neat. But there have been so many cool designs in the past, especially when cars were a big deal. Like, I think electric cars are kind of the new generation of design. Oops. Yeah, electric cars are kind of the new design adventure, and you know, I think you know, BMW took a bold leap with the i8. They took a bold leap with the i3. So you know, I kind of think they're doing some really interesting stuff, and that Hyundai Prism, I guess it's called, or something like that, or the Ioniq 5, or I don't know what the name of it is, but something 5, I forget the name. But that's kind of a really new, innovative look that I think is good. And these are, of course, all just my personal opinions. But living in LA, we're lucky to see a lot of cars. Although there have been a lot less of them on the road lately because of the gas price hike. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive to get gas in LA. On one hand, it's good for the environment, I guess, that there aren't as many cars on the road. But on the other hand, it makes driving horrible. Like, I don't know how many people are going to be taking road trips this summer. Probably not too many. It's so funny, when the pandemic started, gas prices started to go down quite a bit. And so it was an awesome time to kind of go on a rip. But now it's really ridiculous. Yeah, the Mustang electric car was not bad. That's right. For Ford, it's not bad. That was a good catch. I mean, the Prius is not bad either. I mean, I don't know. Some of the newer ones are pretty funky, but the Prius isn't too bad of a car. I think it's pretty neat. That looks good. I'm going to move on to this piece right here. Again, I'm spending too much time in areas. I need to move on to other parts if I'm going to ever get this thing done. So basically, I'm doing this in 2-hour chunks online on the streams. And so if I do 12 streams, that's 24 hours. And every once in a while, I do stuff offline, but I have a feeling with my new job and everything, I probably will not have too much time to do that. So probably will be doing most of my work online on this. Yeah. No, that Mustang is not bad. It's pretty neat. You know whose designs I've been really kind of disappointed by lately is Audi. Like, for a while there, they were making some really beautiful cars, and now, you know, I mean, and what is going on with the grills? Like, what is going on with that BMW grill? Like the big kind of rabbit tooth thing that they've got going on. Like, I wonder how long that's going to go for before they move on to something else. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that new grill that they have is really ugly. And like, even like the new Lexus grill, even though they've got some really nice looking cars, the grills are kind of ugly. Like, it's a really bad time for car grills. I kind of like the fact that electric cars don't have a grill. Like, I like the fact that they're just kind of flat in the front. There's no air intake needed because you don't need to cool the engine. It's all battery driven. So I'm kind of digging a lot of those kind of just clean clean grills. Turn local off again. I did. I don't know why I keep turning it off today. All right. Hey, Unicorn Baby, how's it going, man? Yeah. I shouldn't say man. I don't know. Maybe you're not a man. Who knows? I have no idea. Maybe you're a robot. Maybe you are... so I should not assume. Okay. So, yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. It's coming along. For sure. Yeah, but I'm really digging some of the clean lines on the electric cars, and I think it's a good trend. I think we're kind of getting into the second generation of electric cars. I think the first generation was kind of outlandish, but I can't wait to see what happens next. And with gas prices what they are, I think companies will be more compelled to make electric cars. So we'll probably be seeing a lot more of them. All right, so this is coming along. I think, so this piece right here, I think I'm just gonna leave it exactly as it is. So I'm gonna go in here and apply that, and that's it. This piece is done. I'm not gonna do any changes to it. I think this one's pretty much done too. Although I might do a little bit of tweaking over here. So let's go ahead and accept this as well. And apply. I even kind of like what's happening here in this little area. So all I got to worry about is the other parts that are next to it. I might need to just fix this a little bit like that. That's good. And then this piece looks like it's pretty much ready to go as well. So let's apply that. Done. And just going to leave this as is. Maybe tweak this area a bit. Yeah, I did a training for the folks at Hyundai a while back. There were some really smart kids, like outside of the Snowman class that I'm teaching now. The smartest students that I've had have been the folks, the designers at Hyundai Design here in California, and I think those kids are responsible for some of the amazing stuff we're seeing. And what's really kind of a sad thing is that I got to see some of the amazing stuff that they're working on that hasn't even been available yet. So whatever you see is just a very small fraction of all the designs that they come up with. So those kids really know what they're doing. They were all Art Center kids too. Really sharp. All right, so this thing's going to be really big, kind of going to counterbalance, not that big, counterbalance the other feet, and I'll make this inside part smaller. And fit it in here. All right, oh, wow, look at this. Let's push this in too. And I think next week what I'm going to do, or not next week, the week after next, the next stream, I'm going to focus on these inside parts. And I might just use some kit bash cables or whatever to go in here to create some interesting detail. So I want to contrast the inside part having a little bit of detail and stuff going on with these really clean outside parts. So let me see if I can finalize this one. I think, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, so to add a dynamic subdiv to this. That. Okay, I see Rabbit Tooth, pretty funny. Yeah. AL, thank you. Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it'd be cool. I think we will see some crazy designs. I think the initial designs are going to be more. I think the initial designs are going to be a little bit more, kind of more crazy than not. Like the Cybertruck, for example. I can't see, them taking a risk on a design like that when it's like the 10th generation of that Cybertruck.
So initially they'll take some risks, but then I think they will kind of at some point kind of settle in on not spending as much money on design as they do now. Which is kind of sad, but it's just economics. There's always new R&D money going into something that's going to be designed that's new, than something that's going to be a new generation. Like the only reason why somebody would drop a lot of money on design is if, I mean, this is like not talking about companies like Apple, but the only reason why, you know, like Toyota would apply a lot of design dollars to the Prius is if they see Prius sales going down quite a bit. But even then, they might focus on other things. So design is just one of the elements that they spend money on. But companies usually throw their best designers on new stuff. Yeah, they do use ZBrush to design cars. Absolutely, of course. So I don't know if you, you know, I mean, the cars are designed mostly in CAD programs, mostly like in Alias, but one of the things that I taught the kids at Hyundai actually was to use sculpting to do their design, and they took it to heart, I think. And if you look at, you know, I mean, the reason why Ferrari has such beautiful cars is because they sculpt them. Those cars are sculpted. You know, you look at a car like a Lamborghini, and a Lamborghini is more of a CAD design or more of a drafted, you know, kind of a hard surface design,